This is how I find my battle. This is how I find my battle. This is how I find my battles. This is how I find my battles.
I just know that somebody can hear me. Sorry, I'm just trying to know if you can hear me. I just want to make sure everything is good before I start.
That's a question as well. It's a good. Okay.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Is my audio on?
Hey, watching from YouTube.
Who is it? Who is it? What are you on?
I'm on Zoom.
YouTube. So YouTube can hear me. Zoom can you guys hear me? Zoom can you hear me?
It's just connecting. Hello, sir. Sir? Okay, I can hear everybody.
Okay. I just want to make sure everything is fine. As everybody's doing, hope you're fine. You know.
Increase the volume of the phone.
Where's which of the devices coming to this? Okay, but still the volume of the YouTube is low, so just go on and just see if you can. YouTube, are you better now? YouTube, do you think you're better? YouTube, are you better? Okay, so guys, I'm trying to raise my voice so that everyone can hear me well. We're going to start. Today we're talking about rekindling the if you have been married for a while, is that you're even begin to wonder, what on earth am I doing here? Why am I even married? I don't most married people have thought that and felt like that. So why marriage? Is marriage important? Let's even start from there. Because we're talking about rekindling the passion in your marriage, okay? So is marriage even important? So what are the reasons for marriage? There are a few of them. I can't list all of them here today, but I'll mention a few. There are a few reasons why God created marriage and why marriage is important. It's good for us to go back to the basics. It's good for us to go back to the basics sometimes. Somebody asked me this week that, what is the purpose of marriage? Why do we even need to marry? So I need to put on my earpiece and I'm off. I can't see myself. Is the earpiece from? Oh, there's echo. Sorry guys, echo. Just give us some time. Just I'll put the earpiece so that I'll be glad. I'm not just saying on video. Sorry guys, 1 minute. The echo is coming from here. Can they just move so that? Oh, wow. 1 minute, guys. 1 minute, guys. I need to put on earphone. We're just trying to get this going. This is our first official webinar, so just give us some time. Don't worry, once we get going, you'll enjoy the whole thing. I heard that there's echo, so that's how we're trying to get that. So, can you hear me?
No, I have to put it quiet.
You feel that? Yeah, so that you won't put it quiet, so that you know for sure if you are hearing me or not. Sorry, guys, just walk today. There's no echo, no nothing. Okay, so let me just go online at something that so someone asked me when you go high school. But it's fine, I know how I do this also. So someone asked me that why do you even marry? Because there's nothing for me to start talking to you about getting your passion back. Sorry. There's no use for me to talk to you about passion if there's the you wouldn't understand why we're getting married in the first place at all. Let me put on the earphone so that Yes, can you hear me still? All right, so good question. Why do we get married? Okay, there are a few reasons why God created this thing called marriage at all. And let's look at. I'll just touch them briefly. Number one of the reasons why God made marriage is for companionship. It's for companionship. One of the things God knew that we needed as humans is that we need connection. We were created for connection. That is why this whole isolation period is tough for many families. In fact, those of you that follow general news and all that, you must have heard already that divorce rates in places like China and co. After the lockdown, we went up. In places like America, we went up. In fact, they said all kinds of violence everywhere else, like crime and all that, is on the low. The only violence that is up is domestic violence. Because now, armed robbers are on break, killers are on break, everybody's on break, but families are together. So there's a high level of calls for domestic disturbance and violence. So the first reason why God created marriage is for companionship. Listen, there's a void inside every human being. There's a need inside every human being to connect to that human being. Now, I know marriage is not the only thing that solves this problem. However, marriage is the main thing. Let me say this way: marriage solves it at a higher level, like no other relationship can. All right, marriage is not the only thing that can solve the companionship problem, but marriage solves it at a level that no other relationship can. Because in marriage, you are being joined together with the person. There's no other relationship that you can get to that level. As a matter of fact, God compared marriage to his relationship with us. So there is a big picture to it. Okay, I'm moving fast as I can. Companionship. All right, the Bible says, how can one be one if he lies alone? But if two come together, then they can give each other warmth. I mean, this is a marriage seminar, so the beauty of being able to cuddle with your spouse, being able to have somebody to talk to. When you are going through a high, when you have something great happening in your life, you have somebody to talk to. When you have challenges, you also have somebody to talk to. That companionship, is a need for every human being. That's why this whole isolation period has caused a lot of mental health issues, a lot of emotional health issues. We punish criminals by isolating them. It's a big deal. And even in American prisons, for instance, when you commit an offense in the prison, they still put you in solitary confinement. They still use isolation, intense isolation to punish. So I'm just trying to show you, if isolation was not an issue,
it won't be used as a criminal punishment. It's a thing because we were created for connection. I'm moving fast. Number two, reason why God made marriage is for us to complement each other. You see, we do better when we come together. Nobody has 100% strength. The way you were made, you have some strengths and you have some weaknesses. So the way it works is that when two people marry, and usually opposites attract. So when two people marry, you see that they come with certain strengths, and the other person comes with different strengths, and that makes us more rounded, makes us more balanced. So somebody is not very jovial. You usually marry someone that is jovial, and that brings the joy into their own life. Wow. It also has to be short. Yeah, cooking something in my house, and there's so much preparing. Pepper picking the pan. All right, so so we complement each other. Someone is not good with handling money, marry somebody that is good with handling money. That is someone is not good with one. So basically, we complement. The Bible said two are better than one. They will have a good reward. That's what the Bible said. That two are always better than one. They will produce better. Okay, let me move as fast as I can. Number three. Marriage was created for sex. For sex, my brother, my sister. Marriage was created for sex. I'm telling you, hey. I didn't want to talk too much about this one. My brother, sex is important. Let's not tell single people this thing. But sex is important. Some people will literally run mad if they don't have a healthy sex life. So sex is important. There's a way it balances us, it relaxes us, makes us feel better. If we didn't need it, God won't create it. And the Bible makes it clear that one of the purposes for marriage is to make sure we don't fall into sexual temptation, so we're able to meet that need for sexual passion. So I'm trying to not spend time in sex. All right, that's courteous. I don't have, is that how to pronounce it? One like that. So I'm talking about companionship, complementing each other, courteous. The fourth one is children. For children, God wants children. God wants this world to multiply. Without marriages, families won't be raised. God wants godly seed. He said, why did he bring two together? So that they might have a godly seed. So children is a major part of why God wants marriage. And the fifth one, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth one, which I'm going to stop with to move to something else, is for character. See, there's nothing that tests your character like marriage. There's nothing that builds your character like marriage. I'm telling you, everybody thought they are great until they got married. Everybody thought, if you see me, I am to say that I'm such a good person. If you don't me, if you know me, I'm a good marry first. I'm even skeptical now about relationship coaches that are not married that are teaching about marriage. Now, I can understand relationship coaches teaching about relationship. That's fine. But if relationship, you are not married and you want to teach about marriage, my brother, you have no clue. You have no clue what we're talking about. As a matter of fact, I would like you to marry for a while yourself before you can start talking. Because if you're not married, you're not married. You don't know what we're talking about. Yes. And even when you do get married, 1 or 2 years in marriage is different from 5-year mark, because there's different challenges there. It's not from 10 years mark, not from 20 years and upward like that. Your experiences change in time. There are 7 stages in a marriage. That's not today's topic. All right. So the point is that marriage will test your character, because usually you come into marriage, looking for only good. Looking for only the good in your spouse, but you inherit also the negative. You inherit the bad. Those of you that marry, you already know what I'm talking about. You came in looking at only the good things. You like her shape, you like the way she talks, you like the way she laughs, you like the way he plays, you like his whatever. You didn't budget for the bad part, but you inherited it. That's what I say, for better, for worse. You inherited it. It tests your character. You thought you're a good Christian, marriage will test you. You thought you're patient, marriage will test you. You thought you are kind, marriage will test you. All those who praise you, they don't live with you. If you can impress the person you live with, and men, this is where I want to talk to you. If you can impress that woman, because most men at the beginning want to impress a woman. It's a natural instinct in human beings. I told you the story some time ago when I had a house help, a guy, because I had a lot of dogs, so I got this house aid in the house that was to help with the dogs. So I had big dogs, so you take them for walk, clean after them, bathe them, feed them. I needed a guy to do that, because the woman couldn't do that. So we had a male help. So after a while, we started having children. We needed a female help that walk inside the house while this guy does stuff outside. So we mistakenly, hired both helps at the same time. So while the male help was there, we got a female help. We didn't know we're about to breed helps in the house. This guy that was minding his business, the first day he took off his shirt and was walking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. As in, yeah, where your shirt? He didn't have six pack. In his mind, he had he had chest, he had nothing, but he was already misbehaving. He just questioned woman. So the average man wants to impress a woman. So man, the challenge is this. I'm not trying to impress her when one of you are single. I'm not trying to impress her just the first year of marriage. Can you continue to impress that woman even 10 years into your marriage? That's how you know you're a man. That's how you know you're doing it right. You will keep impressing her. You will keep doing things that will impress her. So it tests your character. It's not that some women don't know they have sharp mouth. You know, this is why you didn't know you had sharp mouth. Now you married. The women didn't know they had bad character. Your sleeping patterns, so some people don't know it's not. Baseline is that marriage test your character. Let me stop with that. So I'm just sharing some of the reasons why marriage is good. And you see, marriage is like the most powerful relationship in our lives. It's actually the most powerful decision you make outside of receiving Christ. It's the most powerful decision you make outside of receiving Christ. It will change you like nothing else. You know, stronger than your career decision, stronger than your location, stronger than the way you decide to live. The most powerful decision after receiving Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior is the decision for who. All right, the people that started the study have obviously died, but the way they work, people are very organized, so they put all their notes down. So from time to time, a new professor takes over to head the project, because the first people that started have died. That lasted 80 years. You know what they did in that study? They studied the impact of family, marriage, and family in human beings. So they went and followed these people from when they were kids. So they write down notes from every junction in their life. Said people live longer, makes them live healthier, makes them live happy. Of studying a group of people that they followed from childhood to when they are, so them are even dead now. They found out that their marriage, good marriages, their marriage makes, helps people live a longer, healthier, happier, and more successful life. So this is why we're investing in marriage. This is why we're investing in your marriage. Because I'm just trying to show you that it has so much impact. It has so much impact. Okay, let's move forward. So, and like I said, it impacts your life. In fact, some people think, oh, my career is more important than my marriage. You see, the truth is that without a good marriage, if you marry, you won't enjoy the success. You can't enjoy it because you need a good family to enjoy your success. Your marriage can impact your performance at work, and it will also impact how you enjoy the reward from work. Okay, your marriage will impact your performance at work, also impact how you enjoy the rewards, of that work. Okay. My concern of late, and part of why we're doing this is that a lot of people are married, but they are not maximizing the whole concept of marriage. Marriage is such a powerful thing, such a beautiful thing, but because many people are not doing it right, they are not maximizing it. Marriage success is in degrees, and some are scoring as low as 10%, some are scoring 90%. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that some people are not harnessing not maximizing the whole purpose of marriage. And we're going to look at those things today. Yes, one minute.
On Zoom or YouTube.
You see the audio, is it my earpiece that causing it? Was I better without the earpiece?
It's not here.
Wow. Sorry guys, we're getting some complaints about the audio. So we're getting some complaints about the audio, and you just need to know how your own audio is. Is it good? Can you hear me loud and clear? This is Zoom, right? Okay. But some people are complaining that it's bad.
Oh, you. Yeah.
Wow. Sorry guys. What are you using? What should you use? No, guys. How's the sound? How's the sound? Is it better? Is it better? Some people had issues with the sound. Sorry, guys. We're just getting the hang of this. You know, Zoom too will test your character. You know, thought you were a nice person. Thought you were patient. Zoom will test your patience now. How's it going?
Should we try again without the
Earpiece. Okay, besides you try without the earpiece, let me try again. Give me a minute. Hope it's not the network. I see you. You check your.
No, it's good.
Don't you ever check? Are we good?
It's clear on your end, right?
So you say it's clear, is it? Okay, sorry if it's not clear and maybe you want to. That's good. That's one. All right. You know, so basically we've dealt with how important marriage is. The next thing I need to say is that, and I've also mentioned that marriage is in degrees. Some people are not maximizing it, some are maximizing it. The third thing I need to say is that any marriage can work, really. Any marriage can work if, you know, wow. So we'll get better. We'll get this better. So this. All right. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Let's go. Okay. The search not talk too fast, too. All right. So, what? Okay, now. So any marriage can work. So any marriage can work. That's the next thing. Somebody asked me some time ago. He said, if it's true love, can true love, fade? Can true love die? And I asked the person a question back. I said, the person asked, he said, can original love, if love is original, can it still die? Can it ever die? And I asked the person a question. I said, can an original Mercedes-Benz break down? I would ask the person that, can an original Mercedes-Benz car break down? And the answer to that is yes, it can break down. It can break down. And I said, you see, just because it's original doesn't mean it will not be maintained and serviced. For it to continue running and not break down, it must be maintained and serviced. And that is how passion or love in your relationship or marriage is. Just because it's true love or it's passionate love doesn't mean it will not be maintained. It has to be maintained and serviced for it to continue going. All right, so that's what you need to know. It has to be maintained and serviced. So you don't need a new spouse. All right, I'm picking some of this from my book titled "You Don't Need a New Spouse." As a counselor, one of the things I hear the most, is that I need a new spouse. I married the wrong person. I married the pastor. I married the wrong husband. I married the wrong wife. Some people say, "Oh, I don't love my spouse anymore." I hear that one a lot. I don't love my spouse anymore. Pastor, help me. I don't love this woman again. I can't explain it. I don't know why. I've tried my best. I mean, if I get $1 every time I hear that, I'll probably have $100,000 by now. They say, I don't love my husband anymore. I don't love my wife anymore. Another one I hear is that, we are not compatible. We are not compatible. We are not compatible. I hear this one too a lot. This one in the Western world, they call it irreconcilable differences. Irreconcilable differences. The key is that you don't need a new spouse. All right. If you are here and you've ever felt like this, please let me know. If you can, if your husband or wife will be happy. If you ever felt like that, please let me know in the comment section. Let me know if you ever felt, hey, what am I doing here? How did I marry this person? Who is this person? Who is this? Who am I? Who are we? Who are us? Sometimes you will just be wondering, what on earth was I thinking? What on earth was I thinking? You don't need a new spouse. I know most of us have talked like this before. You don't need a new spouse. What you just need is a renewed commitment to your old spouse. That's all you need. You don't need a new spouse. All right? There are two things you need to note. Number one is that you are very predictable. You are very predictable. Number two is that you are adaptable. All right? Number one, you are very predictable. Number two, you are adaptable. Okay. What do I mean by you are predictable? What do I mean by you are predictable? What does that mean to you? You are predictable means, as human beings, generally we go through similar seasons as human beings. Now, there are little exceptions here and there, but largely, most of us go through similar situations and challenges. Maybe not at the exact same time. But generally, we face like your growing up. It's almost the same. We know a certain age range when guys begin to change, when girls begin to change. Everybody knows when the girls will start having things like menstrual cycles, when the boys start having, hair on their face. So there's general growth pattern. I've actually heard people say there are no rules. That when it comes to marriage relationship, there are no rules. What works for one might not work for one. Listen, all those things are just African mentality that hates principles. Then everything in life has rules. Everything has principles. It's part of why Africa is not developed. Because we don't like we like luck. We like luck, and we like prayer without action. I believe in prayer. I'm a pastor. I like prayer. But there are many people that pray for what God has asked us to do. Then they want to do what God has asked us to pray about. No, they are different. So we live in luck or chance or just favor. So we just say, oh, it's God. We don't know why it's working. Everything has principle. And you can't be a God like our God that is running such a mighty planet and not running by principles. What that means, let me never go into that. But basically, everything has principles. And so does marriage, so does passion, so does success in your marriage. Like I said, marriage in degrees. Some are doing it very poorly, some are doing it very well. The key is for all of us to do well so that you can get the best out of marriage. You can actually maximize the purpose for creating marriage. You can maximize it, and that's my prayer for you. To be honest with you, I'm enjoying marriage, and I'm seeing the benefits. You can't even convince me not to marry again. I don't tell my wife, where were you all my life? I wish I could backtrack and marry her earlier. I'd have been more successful, I'd have been greater, I'd have been happier. So I've seen the benefits, and I pray you'll begin to enjoy it also. All right. So I said we are predictable. That's number one. We are incredibly predictable. we always like to feel we are special. But the truth is that, yes, you are special, but you are still very predictable. And with proper training and proper learning, you can navigate any season of life and even any season of marriage, with the right learning. So we are predictable, okay? Now, so what happens to many couples is that when they start from, the emotional love. When every couple starts, they start from emotional love. There's something you saw that made you marry your spouse. There's something you saw. Everybody starts from that emotional high. Oh man, that person must be meeting a need in your life. Whether it's a good need, bad need, or even a stupid one, the person is meeting a need in your life. Before you marry that person, there's something you saw. You didn't marry at that point. You didn't marry at that point. There's something you saw. Nobody forced you. I'm assuming now they didn't force you. All right. So we start from that emotional love, that high love. But the mistake many of us make, the reason why the passion runs dry is that first passion was like a spark. It wasn't really something we did. It's something that just happened to us. And we rode that passion. Met the girl. Oh, this part of the passion is great. This one makes a guy go far. You see a guy that lives in Lagos, he sees Benin as very close. He'll just tell his friends after closing work on Friday, you close early and say, guys, make I just read Benin, just here. He's calling Benin just here. This one makes a guy that lives in VI go all the way to Korodu to go and pick his girlfriend to come to the house to visit him. Then after the end of the day, he takes her back to Korodu to drop her. He's not tired. This emotional, passionate love. This same guy in marriage can never leave his room to the next room or leave his room to come downstairs to meet that same wife. He says it's too tired, it's too stressful. What has changed? Same woman, the same man. This man, you were doing everything for him. Before you married him, he didn't even beg you. You were washing his clothes. You were cooking for him. You were everything. They didn't even beg you. You were the one doing by yourself. Now, you can't even start him. What changed? The first passion was not really your doing. It was emotional. The second one, that first one dies after a while. Then the second one comes. That one is intentional love, all right? First one is emotional love. The second one is intentional love. And many people get confused. After the emotional love goes, they think that means I don't love my spouse anymore. That's where they get that saying from. They think that means we are no longer compatible. They think that means I need a new spouse. No, you don't need a new spouse. You just need to change gear from emotional love to intentional love. That's all you need to do. All right? That's all you need to do. You need to become more intentional now about loving your spouse. You can't continue riding on the emotional love at this time. It dies. Some people's own, it dies before the wedding. Because they date for a very long time, it dies. Some people's own, they were married for 1 or 2 years, then it still dies. Because that was never meant to take. It's like when you have milk teeth. It's teeth, but it wasn't even designed to last. It's supposed to fall off, then the real ones will grow. That's how this is. The emotional love dies, then the intentional love comes. But many people never know. In fact, for the men, sometimes they don't even know that is what has happened. So see what happens, guys. The man finds out he's no more excited about his wife. So he also doesn't treat her well. All right? He doesn't now call her, he doesn't text her, he doesn't take her out, doesn't talk to her nicely, doesn't talk to her kindly. So she too now is also, her husband has died. So as he's treating her badly, she's also responding badly. So he will say, I don't love her anymore. He will go out of his house and start another emotional affair with somebody else because he wants that spark again. What he doesn't know is that no matter who he goes to meet, he will come back to this same junction when he needs to be intentional. He needs to change here. Same thing with the woman, right? This first one dies, then we need to become intentional about loving each other. I'll get to that towards the end. Let me move on a bit forward again. Talking about the fact that you are predictable. There is always why. There is why for everything. If right now there's no passion in your relationship, if right now you don't like your husband or wife, It's right now you don't like that. You can't understand what your husband or wife is doing, how they're acting, what their behavior is like. One thing you must learn is that there is why. Don't assume that they are just acting out of the blues. There is why. People behave, you get why. You get why. People behave how they behave for certain reasons. So this is important. And for us as therapists and relationship coach, one of the things they teach us, people don't just behave somehow for no reason. There's a reason. Especially when people are doing things out of character, out of the normal. There's a reason. And if you don't wait to think, you will just get angry for nothing. You must understand that there is a reason why. If your husband is shouting at you, there's a reason. If your spouse is a serial cheater, there's a reason. If your spouse irritates you, there is a reason they are acting the way they do. It's hardly just for the sake of it. I mean, it's rare to see a husband and wife just trying to hurt their partner. It's rare. It's rare. Those are extreme cases. Hardly happens. All right. So there are 4 reasons why people act the way they do, and you need to understand this thing so that you will start seeing your spouse from a different point of view. There are 4 reasons why people act the way they do. 4. All right. If you're writing, write it up, but I'll show you on the screen. And maybe they will send you these notes on your email. I don't know if they like it. They'll send. Number 1 thing that influences people's behavior. If you're having issues with your spouse now, or totally hate your spouse's behavior, see, they had this behavior before you married them. Don't forget it. Emotional love blinded you. When you move to intentional love, you will blind yourself. Okay, I'll say that again. When it was emotional love, they say love is blind. It's true. Because when you're in that emotional high, you are seeing all the flaws. He's lazy, comes late, he has no drive. Everything you're complaining about now, he had it then, but emotional love blinded you. Now that you are in for intentional love, you need to blind yourself. I'll get to all those things quite close. All right. So number 1 thing that influences people's behavior, especially the negative things your spouse will do. Number 1, their parents. Their parents. You can also call it engineering. That's what some people call it. If you prefer P or an E, choose anyone you like. For parents, your parents. Guys, let me tell you something. This is one of the biggest lessons I have learned in recent times. It's one of the biggest lessons I've learned in recent times. Your parents, oh my God, is influencing you. Most people's family life, upbringing, is having an incredible effect on their life. They just don't know it. Now, I always knew this thing, but of recent, it has become so real to me. It has become so true to me. I can't even believe how powerful it is. It has become so real. Statistically, people duplicate majorly what they get from their parents. This means, guys, and that's why I want to beg every parent here, every married person here. One of the reasons why you should do your marriage right is for the generations following you. That's one of the reasons. If you are asking yourself, why should I even work on this marriage? Why should I even continue? I'm not talking about somebody that is in a life-threatening situation. I'm not talking about that, or you're in a serious, toxic thing. That's what I'm talking about. Normal struggle a marriage faces, okay? And you're wondering, why should I even work on this? Why should I continue? Is it worth it? Let me tell you right now. Listen to me very well now. Whatever you do is going to impact your kids. Amazing. I can give you example after example. I don't have time to do that today, but I can give you example after. There is no reason that doesn't have a reason. There's no behavior that doesn't have a reason. There's a why. That parent's upbringing is one of the strongest. Statistically, they found out that people that grew up in a home where the marriage was broken have a higher chance of ending up in a broken marriage. They found out that people that grew up in a house where there's domestic violence, where father beats mother or mother beats father, that they end up marrying somebody like that or end up beating their own spouse. This is statistically proven. I can go on and on. I can go on and on. I mean, it is amazing how much we grab from our parents. I shared the story sometime in church, how I was in London somewhere. I saw one small girl, and she wore something short, wore this one, earrings everywhere. I was like, this small girl has earrings. By the time her mother passed, hey, our mother was iron, ring everywhere, chain everywhere. I said, oh, that's where she got it from. Because what you don't realize that your kids are mirroring you. They are learning, even before they start talking, they are learning from you. So one of the greatest things, I want to appeal to all the parents here, all the married couples here. One of the reasons you have to do marriage right is because it will affect your kids. It will affect your kids. If you want to love your kids, you can see parents that say they love their kids and they don't love their spouse. No, if you want to love your kids, if you claim you love your kids, love your spouse. The way to love your kids is to love your spouse. The way to love your kids is to love your spouse. I'll say that again. The way to love your children, you love your children, the way you love them is to love your spouse. The way to love your kids is to love your, if you want to love your children, love your spouse. If you want to love your children, love your spouse. All right? So that is very crucial, the upbringing. I can give you many stories, but I don't have time to do that today. So if there's violence there, if it's a divorce, I've seen many. I've seen many in my job as a counselor. If you see a woman that walks out of her home and she has daughters, I've seen many. I don't want to go into stories, but I've seen too many. I've seen cases where they pass it generation after generation, and they even think it's a demon. It's not a demon. It's just natural principle. It's normal psychological principle. What you see in your parents' marriage. If you grew up in a home where there are a lot of angry men, They grew up in homes either where there was an absentee father or a present father that was very domineering. All right, listen. And because the way you raise boys is not how you raise girls. When we start doing webinars on parenting, we'll talk about those things. The way you raise boys is not how you raise girls. Because they're not even the same human beings. They're not the same creatures. Men and women are not the same. Scientifically and scripturally and statistically. So I didn't understand why some people try to make them look like they're the same. You will never see God talking to men and women the same. You will never see them in marriage, never talking to them the same. Never, never, never. There's no way he gives them the same instructions. No. Talk to them differently. Always tell them different roles and different needs. Because they're not the same human beings. Scientifically, science says that somewhere around 6 months, when a child is still inside the womb, that it starts changing. So a male baby, right from the womb, starts changing totally different from the female baby in the womb. This is scientifically proven. They said somewhere around 6 months, that baby's brain is immersed in testosterone. So it's like testosterone swallows that brain. They say one of the things that happens is that there's a cord connecting the right brain and the left brain, that testosterone damages that cord. See, it's one of the reasons why men can't talk as much as women. But see, in the world of a female child, it doesn't damage it. So we men can talk. Boop, boop, boop. They talk better. They just communicate better. In fact, women struggle with not talking. Let me ask you, if a man does something and a woman does something, who is likely to confess? A man can lie till his last day. In fact, you can even catch him like this. If he's lying with mouth, he will lie. Even though he's not put together enough to continue acting well, his actions will betray him, but his mouth, he can lie. Never. And he will hold that. The woman, talk to her long enough. She will tell you she needs to talk. It's a need for them. Eve was a talker. Eve got in trouble for talking. That's all. We will talk. I can go on and on scientifically, but the baseline, if you see there are some angry men, they grew up in homes where honestly, I don't know if it's about passion. Should I even tell you this thing? Or should we move on? I don't know because it's a long story and we have our time going. But basically, if you see a man that grew up either with an absentee father or a father that was present but very domineering and treated his mom badly and treated them badly, he will be very angry. So you see those men, they will come out and they're the ones trying to fight for women.
and say men and women are the same, men should not be the head of the home. I mean, it's those people because they had bad experiences with the leaders of their home. Everybody's reacting to something. Everybody. When you see somebody behaving in a certain way, he's reacting to something most times. If you see girls, same thing. You see girls have what they call daddy issues. Some girls have it, even men have it too. Girls have it because a girl's first covering is her dad. There's a love a dad should give to a girl that if he's not there, it affects. Same thing with the boy that gets from his mom. In fact, scientifically, so the first 5 years, the boy is attached to his mom, but after 5 years, at that time, the mom is supposed to leave that boy. That the boy cuts off. Now, the boy is now looking for other boys or looking for men. This is scientifically. I'm not the one coming. I'm not that smart to come up with these things. Okay. But you see, what happens sometimes that the women might be too emotional and not wanting to go. So you hold on to him. Or if there's no male figure around for the boy to start gravitating towards. Because after around 5 years, the boy starts, liking his father more, or at least looking up to his father more. Now, if the father is absent or he's not living up to his standard, he disappoints this boy. And this boy either becomes angry or becomes girly because he has to stick with his mom. There are some things only a man can impart to a man. There are too many things. I don't want to bore you with all these things. I don't want to bore you. One of Nigeria's biggest Barbie dolls, the most popular Barbie dolls, the most popular one we have, that, I heard him share his own story, so I believe I can share it because he shared it. I heard him share. He was saying that his dad was an absentee father. His dad had many wives, so his dad was not really in their life. His mom was just one of the wives. And so he spent more time with his mom. I think his mom had to move out. So he spent time growing with his mom. So that way, whenever his mom was doing makeup, he was the one helping the mom, staying with the mom. So he picked that up. So that's why he became like, I'm trying to show that, look, anything you see in somebody, it's not unfound, it didn't come from the blues. These are our coaching as therapists. And as they should go, when you come, we are trying to find out why are you acting. There's a why. Until we get to the why, we can't solve it. We must get to the why. It's like the way doctors do it. If we can't get to what's causing the problem, we can't solve the problem. When doctors are not magicians, they must know what's causing the fever. They must know what's causing the pain. That's the way. I can't do guesswork. That's how we do many things like that. One guy shared a story. One of our coaches shared a story. Hope my sound is still good as well. One of my guys shared a story. He said he took a girl out. I'm taking too much time. Listen, I say it's important to answer. I don't know it's important to answer. Okay. What was I saying? Okay, so one of our guys shared the story. He said his son, this were people that were in their early, maybe just above 10, 11, something like that, or somewhere around there, that his son had a friend that was a lady, and they were supposed to go somewhere together. So he took his son to the girl's house to go and pick the girl. That when the girl came out of the house, the girl was wearing very short dress, very short. She was literally naked. And when she passed, the girl's dad was outside watching flowers. When the girl passed and told the dad, "See you later, Dad," that the dad didn't even look up. He was just watching this and just said, "Yeah, see you later." And he said he carried the girl in his car. He was terrified. He was uncomfortable. He was saying, so nobody should see him like this. So carrying a young girl dressed like this. He's a pastor. When they got to his own house, see, the girl had a backpack. When they got to his own house, the girl entered the bathroom and changed to normal clothes. And he was like, "What? You left your house with something this short and skimpy, and now you changed the house to normal clothes?" So later, he didn't know what to make of it, but later he met some other younger girls that were a bit older than that. So he called them together. He was in the pastor, he teaches. So he called those ones and said, explain to them what happened. He said, can they teach him what that was about? Oh, the girls said that's not a big problem. That is not a big mystery. That what happened was that small girl is trying to know if her dad loves her. Now, all she's trying to do is to see, will her dad correct her? Will her dad protect her? Or will her dad let her go out like that? And the dad was failing in his job. You see, that girl will grow up being wild tomorrow. That girl will grow up showing her nudity on Instagram Live tomorrow. I'm dancing with underwear tomorrow on IG Live. Everybody will be abusing her. They will wonder, which kind of useless guy is this? Go and check. There's a reason for that behavior. The point is that there's always why. Let me move. All right. So number one is friends, engineering. Number two is past occurrences. Past occurrences. Some people call it, experiences. All right. So this is basically, whatever you've gone through, whatever you've been through in the past. Those experiences have a way of affecting you. So it might be your past dating relationships where you raped, where you abused, where you very poor, very poor. You see some people, they are battling poverty mentality. They are battling poverty. See, those things, they are invisible, but they have such an impact. For trained eyes like us, we can tell. Some people have poverty mentality. So you see the way they respect money. Hey, they respect money. The average Nigerian youth is like that now. They don't even care how you get the money. As long as you have money, they will praise you. They respect money. Some other ones, they go to the extreme, they overcompensate, so they buy things. So they never had it before. Chicken, meat pie, Scotch egg. When they were young, they never had a shoe. So they accumulate. If you see really rich, balanced people, they are never materialistic. Go and check. Really rich, balanced people, they don't see the big deal in having many things. But you see people that came from poverty to money, hey, look, because they never had it. They are reactive. They are responding to a lack. Basically, I'm saying there's always a why. Number three reason why people are going to be present influence. Present influence. Some people call that their environment, all right? Present influence. Basically, there are things going on now that can affect how your spouse is acting. Present influence. It can be salvation. If they are saved, that should affect. If they backslided, that will also affect. Okay? Present influence. Friends. Who are their friends right now? Do they have new friends that are into adultery? New friends that don't treat their spouses right? New friends that believe that a woman should not submit to a man? New friends that believe that a woman should not, men and women should, in a marriage, don't show your spouse your money, things like ideologies like that. What are their friends? Or friends that believe that a woman should never question you. You are the alpha male. You can control a woman. You can cut a woman's wings. Blah blah blah. Those kind of influences presently going on in their lives. All right, the culture where they live, blah blah blah. In our job, we found out statistically when couples move from Nigeria to places like Canada or America, most times their marriage because there's a cultural change. There's a cultural change. Things are drastically different from here and there. So their marriages take a hit. Some marriages don't survive with the shift. Okay. The last one, I'm trying to summarize. Let's make this to cover, guys. I don't know how to do this. But the last one, personality. So this is talking about their essence. So this covers things like their temperament, their gender, being a man, being a woman. It affects, how they act. Let me try and let me just fast track. Let me fast track because I didn't know this thing was this long. Let me just fast track. Okay, I'm saying that you are predictable in the sense that your relationship has seasons. Then, as a person, all your actions have a reason. All right. As a relationship or marriage, it has seasons. You must know when you're moving from emotional love to intentional love. If you don't move, it will move for you. Then the second thing is that all your actions have a reason. Okay, so basically seasons and reasons. All right, seasons and reasons. If you don't remember anything, remember that one. Seasons of my marriage or relationship or my love life. Reasons why my spouse or even why I am acting the way I'm acting. All right, seasons and reasons. I'll say that again. Seasons and reasons. Okay. Second thing is you're adaptable. You're adaptable means listen. You can take responsibility for your actions or for your feelings. You are adaptable. One of the biggest abilities God gave us as human beings is the ability to adapt. I said you are predictable, then you are adaptable. You are predictable, then you are adaptable. All right? This means that the real battle you will face is a battle between you and your emotions. It's not a battle between your husband and wife. It's a battle between you and your emotions. All right? The real battle is a battle between your emotions. If you are adaptable means you can actually choose how you feel. And God has said so. You see, one of the reason why I'm saying is that many people think that how they feel is not their responsibility. That's what happens. Many people think that I don't love my wife. I don't love my husband. We don't have any passion. They feel it's not their fault. They feel it's not my responsibility. Listen, it might not even be your fault. However, it's your responsibility. You can fall in love again. That's what I'm trying to say. You can fall in love again with your spouse. There can be passion again in your marriage. That's what I'm trying to say. If there can be passion, they can. Stop thinking your emotions are controlling you. You are the one supposed to control your emotions. All right? Your emotions don't control you. You control your emotions. In fact, say it, I control my emotions, and my emotions don't control. If we can't agree on that, then there's no use for us to continue the session because you've already given up. Because there's no need for me to continue. You need to understand that you control your emotions. You must take responsibility. You can't control the actions of your spouse, but you can control your reaction. You can't control their action, you can control your reaction. I control my emotions. My emotions do not control me. It's very important that we establish that because this is how we're going to get the passion back. When we understand that, we can move from a passionless marriage to a marriage full of passion. We can move. My emotions are not working independently of themselves. They are controlled by how I think. They are controlled by my perspective pattern. They are controlled by my perspective. Now, let me give you an example. All this period now that we are on lockdown, our perspective of a lot of things have changed. There are things we didn't value so much before. But now that we're on lockdown, I mean, who would have thought we would do Zoom webinars? I know people have been doing, but I like physical. But now I have to do it. Do you get what I'm saying? Perspective. Now, before it could have gotten me angry, but now it's something I appreciate. What has changed? My perspective. Let me give you another example. If you have a friend that says, "Man, this guy is a mad guy," if that guy is not your friend, that can be an insult. If it's your guy, that can be praised. Amongst guys, this guy is a mad guy that is praising you like a badu. But if that guy is not your friend, that same thing is an insult. What's the difference between how you are reacting, your emotions? Let me give you another example. A woman understand this one. If I show you a leather bag, no name, to you it's just a bag. It's okay, just a bag. Plain color. Let's say brown, plain color. No name, just a bag. If I put LV on the same bag, your emotions towards it will change. For people that like bags, okay. Somebody say I don't understand, don't worry. For people that like bags, your emotion will suddenly change by that logo. What am I trying to say? Your feelings don't work independently of themselves. They are usually controlled by your thoughts or your perspective. Your thoughts or your perspective. So what I'm trying to say that we can rekindle the passion. How do we do that? I have to round this up. We do this by making the effort. We do it by making the effort. Do it by making the effort. Effort is an acronym. I don't know if they have it there. It's not very often explained. Effort is an acronym. So the letter E for effort. Letter E for effort. Okay. Make the effort. Okay. Letter E for effort is evaluate the passion in your marriage now. Make the effort. E stands for evaluate. Evaluate where your marriage is. Evaluate where your marriage is. Okay? Evaluate where your marriage is. If we don't evaluate, we can't know whether we're making progress. We can't even know what we need. You must be sincere and honest in evaluating. Evaluate where you are. I'll run through a few questions. There are many of them. I might not be finished with them. I'll run through a few questions that you can ask yourself to know how we're doing this marriage. I hope you and your spouse are watching this together. You know, to help how we do. Because like I said, marriage is in degrees. Some are doing 10%, some are running on 80%, some are running on 90%. Everybody's running at different degrees of success in their marriage. All right. And my desire is that you will run at a very high, rate. Evaluate where both of you are in your relationship. Okay. I'll ask you a few questions now to check the health of your passion or the health of your marriage. with things like sex. Let's start with sex. You see, bad sex or good sex in itself is just a sign, of a problem. It's not a problem by itself. Bad sex is some things that are asked now, they're not a problem, they're just a sign of whether there's a problem. Let me ask you some questions. How often do you have sex as a married couple? How often do you have sex? If you are doing things like once a month, that is very low. If you are doing once in even 2 weeks, that is low for a married couple that lives together. Not that you are doing long distance marriage. That's long. That's why they are not single people here. They won't believe that because in their mind they think sex is all by. I have so many complaints of people that are having sex like once in 2 weeks or once in 3 weeks. That's poor. All right. A healthy couple with a healthy sex life usually minimum of twice a week. Twice a week. If you are doing more than twice a week, then your passion is up there, which is good. I give you thumbs up. If you are doing more than that is wahala in Nigeria around the world. If you are doing more than 2 times a week, like 3 or 4, they put even doing 5 a week, they put doing every day, they put even doing more than once a day, I salute you. You senior the senior. So if you are doing more than twice a week, your passion is high. If you are doing about twice a week, your passion is normal. If you are doing below that, then you need to check that out. Okay, I'm not saying it's compulsory. These are just questions to ask yourself to check where you are. Okay, not by force. Who initiates? Is it one person that only initiates or both of us initiate? This is evaluation. Can I or my spouse talk freely about sex? Do we talk about sex? Or you guys totally avoid the topic? These are all bad signs. Totally, but we can't touch. Can I or my spouse ask for sex? Can I tell my spouse that, hey, I want to have sex today? Can we talk like that freely? Or, I have to just do guesswork. I say today, okay, go, touch her heart, touch his heart, and you come and sneak and mistakenly touch her leg and do like you're playing. If that was still there's a problem. Can you just tell your spouse, hey, baby, tonight, man, I need sex? Can you talk like that freely? All these are ways to evaluate how healthy you guys are doing. Do I enjoy sex with my partner? It's one thing to having it, that's what they're enjoying it. So do I enjoy sex with my partner? Are we willing to work on our sex life? As in, we talk about how to improve it. Are we willing to work on it, or we just get frustrated, we just say it's not working, we just start on it? Or do we really say, okay, what do you enjoy? What should I do more of? What should I do less of? Are you having deep, I'm whispering this one now, guys, whisper. Are you having deep sexual conversations with somebody that is not your spouse? Yeah, I have to whisper that one. And that's a problem. Are you having deep sexual conversations with someone that's not your spouse? That's a problem. That's a conversation you're having with your spouse. All right. So are you enjoying your sex life? Are both of you happy with the frequency of the sex? Because one person is happy with once in 2 weeks or once in 1 month. Are both of you happy with this? If both of you are happy with this, then it's a problem. Second, we move to money. Intimacy. Are we making enough money? Who is the main provider? Can I ask my spouse for money? There are many things. Do we plan our spending together? All these things have an impact on, passion. How much we are putting together. There are many of them. I'm just trying to summarize. Okay, there are many questions here. Openness. Do I ask my spouse for their opinion? Do we talk? Can I ask my spouse's opinion, or do I need to hide what I'm doing because I'm afraid of what they will say, or they will usually say something bad? Does my spouse have full access to my phone, or is there padlock on the password? Do we do things together? Do we watch TV together? Do we bathe together? Do we share jokes? When I say a joke on my phone, is it my spouse? I'm saying this because intimacy, has a way to affect the passion. That's what I'm asking. There are many questions here. I'm just touching a few of them. I'm saying evaluate. That's the first E. You must make the effort. E in effort is for evaluation. All right. Do we talk? What's your spouse's biggest dreams? Do you know what your spouse's biggest dream is? Do you know what your spouse's biggest worry or fear is? Do you talk? Because, single people think sex builds intimacy. Married people know that intimacy builds sex. I'll say that again. Single people think if we have sex, we'll be intimate. Then that sex builds intimacy. Married people know that intimacy is what makes sex passionate. Listen. You can actually have passionate sex till you die. You can have passionate sex when you're old. Many people think that sex must drop because we are getting older, because we might for long. No, it can continue being great if there is intimacy. The difference is that when you were single, the reason why or you were really married, you were enjoying sex for a different reason. Now that you're married for a while, it is the intimacy, the oneness, the kindness, the harmony that makes the sex interesting, that helps the passion. Okay, evaluate. The first F is frankly assess your own shortcomings. Frankly assess or measure. Frankly measure or assess your own shortcomings. We're talking about now making effort, how to rekindle this passion. So that's what we're doing. This is the last page, and I'll take a few questions. Okay. E is evaluate. The first F there is frankly assess your own shortcomings. See, if we're going to get the passion going back, you must start with what you are doing that needs to change. What are you doing that your spouse doesn't like? Leave your spouse home. You talk about yourself. We're talking about passion. We can't rekindle passion by fault finding. Start by yourself. What am I doing? What do I need to do more of? Is it that I'm not kind, I'm not caring? What are my own shortcomings? Am I now overweight? Can I do something about my weight? Can I keep fit? Can I be more active? Can I eat healthier? Because see, let me tell you guys, married people sometimes the thing causing quarrel is not the thing causing quarrel. I know that's very repetitive. I'll say that again. Sometimes the thing that is causing quarrel is not the thing causing quarrel. The person is finding fault and people are bickering and fighting because there's no sex going on. There's sex not satisfactory because that sex calms some people's nerves. So there is not enough, peace. Maybe it's your financial behavior that is making her not to be sexually aroused in the bed because she's always worried that the rent is due, the school fees is due. So a woman is a wholesome being. It's not like men. A man can be in prison and be thinking about sex. He's in prison. They are not shooting the world. Men separate sex and their emotions separate. So he can be in trouble and still be having sexual urges. For women, it's not like that usually. Women, everything is well-rounded. So if she's not being treated nice, it will affect her sex life. If you're always managing money badly, or maybe you're bad with your words, frankly, assess your own shot. Leave their own. Your own. Do you beat your wife, or do you abuse her with words, or you go out and nobody knows where you went to, or you are always rude, always complaining, always nagging your husband, always challenging him, you never agree, you feel it's your right, people just argue all day. Assess your own shortcomings. You must deal with your own. Leave his own first. Thank you. I know what you're thinking. Leave his own or her own. Let's focus on you. We're talking about rekindling the passion. Number one, evaluate where your relationship is. Number two, frankly assess your own shortcomings. Number three, focus on his good sides. Focus on the good from your spouse. We're talking about passion. No? Focus on the good. I know he has bad sides, but you see, I told you that your emotions do not work independently. Your emotions do not work independently of your thoughts. The mistake many people make is that they think that their emotions, their emotions just operate that I don't know how I'm feeling. I can't explain how I'm feeling. I can't stand it. I can't take it. No, your emotions is directly impacted by your thoughts. If you keep thinking about what he or she is doing wrong, you will never have passion. Focus on the good. Look, everybody has a good side. It might just be her shape that's a really good thing. Focus on that. It might be that you like him, his beard gown. That's a really good thing. Focus on it. See, the way things work is that when you focus on the good, that takes care of the bad. If you focus on the bad, it grows. Whatever you pay attention to grows. That's what I'm trying to teach you. Whatever you pay attention to grows. I know he has bad side. You say, if you focus on that, passion will die, love will die. And original Mercedes-Benz break down, yes. It doesn't mean it's less original. If it's not maintained and serviced, it can break down. You must keep it at optimum performance. Optimum performance. So focus on his good sides. Focus on the good side of your wife. What can she do? She's fat. You know, you're thinking she's overweight. Can she cook? Focus on that. Focus on that. Is she active? Is she punctual? Is she hardworking? What can you focus on? Is she a good mother? Focus on the good. He is always doing so and so, but is he a hardworking man? Is he trying his best? You know, does he allow you to go to church? You know, find anything good. You have to find, because see, there was something you saw that made you marry him. You know, you can't come and blame me. There's something you saw. Focus on something good. It's a way to get a passion back. I have to move quickly, then I'll take some questions. Number three, effort. Open communication channels. Open communication channels. Listen, guys, one of Satan's biggest tricks, what he loves the most is that malice in your house. Satan loves that malice. That malice in your house. That malice in your house is a great danger. It's even more dangerous than the thing that caused the malice. Because once you can shut down the communication channels, then we cannot correct what is going on. Open communication channels. Some of you need to even try to avoid quarreling so that you can talk about the real issue. Open communication channels. There's something about intimacy that builds passion. I've said that before. Intimacy builds sex, not sex that builds intimacy. Open communication channels. Keep talking. Talk to your spouse. Tell them how you feel. Before you tell them how you feel, ask them how they feel. You see, that's how to communicate. What happens to many people when they are communicating is that they're trying to talk, and the other person is trying to talk, so nobody ends up listening. The best way to communicate is to sit and ask the person to talk. Tell them, hey, what are the things that you feel can help this marriage? What are the things that if I do will help you be a better husband, be a better wife? You know, what should I do more of? What should I do less of? You know, open communications. Ask them to talk. When they share all their own, you will ask them that, can I share? Can I share some things I believe will make us happy? You know, open communication channels. If you can talk, you'll find out both of you talk your way into results. All right? Open communication channels. Next one is letter R. Letter R. Return. Return to some of the things you used to do that made both of you fall in love. You know, you love this person one time. You guys had passion one time. You guys had passion one time. All right? Return to the things that you used to do that made both of you fall in love. You remember that time when both of you you just met. You met on campus, you met at work, you met on the street, you met her in a restaurant, you met her somewhere. But you guys used to crack jokes. You guys used to laugh together. You guys used to go out to watch movies. Return. When did you take your wife out last? When did you serve your husband food last? When did you show him respect last? When did you use kind words for her last? When did you tell her she's looking beautiful, Mr. Man? When did you say that last? When did you tell her she's your baby? When did you call her that name you used to call her? I don't want to mention the name to call my wife. Where you were? I don't know if she's here. When did you call her those things? Call him those things, you know. What are those things you guys used to do when you just met? Return. Return to those things that made both of you fall in love with each other. Return. Going out together, going on dates, cooking for each other, bathing together, you know, all the things you used to do. Go to church together, pray together. Maybe that's what maybe you feel like about each other. You used to pray together. You know, just baseline return, you know, to what made you fall in love. Then the last one is letter T. Treat your spouse with kindness. Listen, guys, kindness is always romantic to both genders, to both sexes. To a mad person, kindness is good. To a angry person, kindness is good. The Bible said, don't return evil with evil. Always return evil with good. There's something about being kind and being nice to someone that just melts their heart. Don't give fire for fire. The Bible says a soft answer turneth away wrath. Always, so even though you might be angry, but you can take responsibility for your emotions and use a soft answer. Always treat your spouse with kindness. Always. Always, even when you are very upset, you see, the temptation is to give fire for fire. I totally feel you. I feel you want to revenge, you want to retaliate, but two wrongs never make you right. And the principle God gave, I learned this from God from 1 Peter 3:7. 1 Peter chapter 3. God was saying, look, if a woman you're married to a man that gives you trouble, God says, and this is hard advice. I agree. Most of these young boys that talk, they will not like those kind of things. But this is sound biblical advice. God said, look, if you marry a spouse that's giving you trouble, He said, you still behave a Christian way, treat them nice. He said, your own behavior, your conversation, that's how they put it. But it means your behavior can change them. You see, they don't know the Bible, or they're not trying to obey the Bible. So your own kindness will change them. And it's the same thing with the man. Treat your wife with understanding, because that too will change. Treat your spouse with kindness. All right. So thank you very much. That was long. That's 1 hour, 30 minutes or so about that, about 1 hour plus. So hey, I'm going to take a few questions before we close. I hope this was worth it for you. But you need to hear this over and over again to remember it and to appreciate it. I don't know if they'll post it up somewhere. They'll post it up somewhere, you will get it. It's on YouTube, I believe. So you will enjoy it. You hear it over and over again with your spouse, preferably. So I'll take a few questions. Who's going to read me the questions? You will read it to me. Okay. You'll read me a few questions and I'll take a few questions. Wow. All right.
Why do men find it difficult to give their wives attention?
Great question. The question asks, why do men find it difficult to give their wives attention? Great question. In fact, I ought to have advertised my books and material before we start this question and answer session. So can we do that, please? Are you hearing me, Joshua? So talk about, I need to talk advertise the materials. I don't know if you have them with you here. Because this question reminded me of that. If you are a married couple, please, and you don't have A to Z of marriage, I don't even know what you're doing. If you're a married person, you have to have the book A to Z of marriage. In that book, my wife wrote that book. It's my best-selling book all over the world. It's a simple book. I don't like to read, so it's easy to read, and straight to the point. My wife dealt with what love is to be married to a person, to both male and female, in alphabetical order. ABCD is the first thing they teach you when you go to school, because without that you can't do any other thing. So we did A to Z of marriage, and we dealt with what love means to both genders in alphabetical order. So I wrote to the women, telling them what love means to a man. My wife wrote to the men, telling them what love means to a woman. So A from women, I taught women that men like acceptance, that's A, and we taught the women, and we taught the men that women like attention, that's A. So please get this book if you don't have it. You can get it from our website, www.ldmwithpk.org, or you can send us a message on Instagram, ldmwithpk.org, or if you're abroad, if you're outside the country, if you're in America, Canada, London, you can get it off Amazon. They have soft copy and they have hard copies, so you can order it. Remember to write us a review if you're getting it from Amazon. All right. Right. Presently, we have 5 stars. So this is the book. This is the book A to Z of marriage. Let me post A to Z of marriage. All right. If you don't also have this one, this is titled Manual, How Men Think. All right. In this book, what I did was I tried to show a woman how men think, so that they will know how to relate with men. All right. We'll probably do how women think sometime, but for now, I'm a man, so it was easy for me to be able to explain to women how men think. All right. Men and women are totally different. In fact, that's my upcoming book titled Pink and Blue, where I dealt with the difference between men and women, about 21 differences that affect our relationships, between men and women. Awesome book, awesome book. It's coming out. It's supposed to be out this May. I don't know whether I'll still make it. I believe we'll make it out this May. This book, Shail, all right, it's my wife's prayer, Kail. It's Hebrew. Kail prayer journal. It's my wife's prayer. The prayer she prays for me. If you think I'm doing well, you think I'm trying. This is the secret here. My wife prays for me. Prays for me. I'm supposed to write praying for your wife. So I know some people are thinking, "Is it you, man?" I'll calm down. I'm going to write praying for her, but I want her prayer to work well, so that I'm going to write praying for your wife. All right. But this is praying for you. So if you're a woman, you will like this. These are powerful prayer points and how she prays for me. If you like how I'm doing, this is my praise for me. So get this book too. This one is Hannah's Heart Diary and devotional. another devotional. It took us 8 years to have our first biological child. So my wife journaled all the things God taught her and the scriptures God taught her. So if you guys are a couple that are waiting for fruit of the womb, it's a good book to also order.
Then this one are my special ones, titled All Year Round for Men and for Women. All Year Round for Men and for Women. It's a special gift pack, has a lapel pin, has a brooch, has all that stuff, pen. It's a special gift pack. It's a coaching, 1 year coaching for men and women. I wrote All Year Round for Men, my wife wrote All Year Round for Women. So simply, we're coaching men 52 weeks, 52 points for 52 weeks. That's all year round of how for them to love their wife or love their husband. So you'll be hearing from me every week. I'll be telling you what to do to your wife to make her happy. And my wife will be telling the women what to do to their husband when they're so 1 year. And you'll be getting emails. So in case you forget the book, you'll be getting emails into your mail to remind you. So it's a great book. So all that material. So let me get to that question. And of course, on our website, there are loads of messages for married couples, all right? Battles of the sexes, marriage home improvement. There are many of them like that. Many. So go to the website, please, and get those messages, the audios. Now, I'm on my YouTube, of course, many other things. So let's get to the question the person asked. Why is it that men find it hard to give their wives attention? Very simple. Most men are instinctively hunters. They are not good at being nurturers. And the word husband comes from husbandry. It talks about nurturing and building. It doesn't come to men naturally. They have to learn it. And like I said, that's what I was begging you earlier on. This is why your sons need to learn how to be a husband from you. All right, and your daughters need to learn how to be the standard to expect from a man from the father. All right, so most men don't know how to give attention because they don't understand it's a major need for women. So that's why, like that A to Z, I dealt with things. A, there is attention. That's why I told the men that women like attention. So you must give your wife attention. So it's just like it doesn't come instinctively to us. You notice that he will give you attention when he's toasting you because he's a hunter. Most men are great hunters. We were created to hunt. We go and look for jobs. We go and look for livelihood. We are hunters. We look for wife and we find. He that finds a wife. So he's going out there. The moment he finds, he becomes clueless. He doesn't know that he needs to keep calling her. He doesn't know he needs to keep chasing her. He just becomes clueless. He doesn't call as much. He doesn't text as much. Just even for marriage, just dating, you have agreed. And maybe he has even slept with you, which is not supposed to do. But once he has, in his mind, achieved, he just loses the passion. So he needs to learn now to reignite that desire to pursue. And it's coaching and training that will do that. He needs to learn. I've seen this happen. In fact, it happened to me in secondary school. It was a bad story. I was toasting one girl. I didn't really like this girl. I just enjoyed toasting her. I toasted her. I would leave my class, go to her class, hang down, buy her gifts. I was enjoying the toasting. I won't lie to you. I'm here. I confess. I was not going to get 10. Secondary school. I was in. Finally, one day, my brother, one day, she agreed. That is the end of Solomon Brown. You know Solomon Brown? That's the day that the moment she agreed, I said, oh wow, what have I done? She has agreed. I mean, I could not even talk to her. When I was just saying, I was talking. When she agreed, within this one, that was the worst relationship in history. It ended the day it started. I made from that time, I would barely see her. We didn't break the relationship, as if we just faded. When you are someone that we have fooled ourselves. It was bad. It was bad. It was a national crisis. It was than COVID-19. Like, the moment she agreed, I knew I was in trouble. I knew I was done. It was bad. I didn't like it. I just enjoyed it. So men enjoy. That's why some men, even when they are married, because they don't know how to chase their wives, and the wife seems to be giving them trouble now because she's not getting this attention. So she's giving you trouble because that's how women are. When they don't get something they want, they just give you problem. So you think what they're discussing is the problem. It's not the problem. They lack attention. So they're constantly with something else, and you think it's that thing. I mean, men can be good. So he's attacking that. He doesn't know that she's just complaining generally. When a woman is happy, everything is fine. When a woman is happy, everything is bad. Even your good thing will be bad. Because scientifically, again, a woman's mind is like a ball. Everything is linked. A man's mind is separated. Everything is separate. So he needs to learn, basically, how to give attention. He needs to learn it. That's just it. It doesn't come to him naturally. Yeah. Second question.
I am losing my self-worth and self-esteem in my marriage. My husband makes me feel he's doing me a favor by marrying me. What do I do, sir?
Okay. She said she's losing her self-worth because of
In her marriage, that's what makes
Yes.
her feel like he's doing her a favor by marrying her.
all right. Your husband makes you feel like you need to marry, you do yourself what simple. Yeah. Take responsibility for how you feel. The reason it's having so much impact on you, I probably it was on my notes somewhere, I didn't have time to build on it, where I talked about taking, it's a battle between you and your emotions. I mentioned that, but I didn't have time to go into it. Marriage is a battle between you and your emotions. It's not really a battle between you and your spouse. It's more about you and your emotions. If you can handle your emotions well, you don't have to play the game of marriage well. You are putting so much of your dependence emotionally on him. Now, it's supposed to be so if he was treating you right. But in a case where he's not treating you right, you need to relax and take responsibility for your own actions and your own emotions. Don't put all your dependence on him. Build your self-worth on what God is saying about you. Build on what God is saying about you. Now, the way things like this work, if you can get your happiness, he will start seeing value in you again. But if you are always depending on him, then he will keep bringing you down. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Let me explain. When people do things to you, they are feeding off your reaction. They are feeding off of your reaction to it. So in other words, if I insult you and it pains you, will it make me stop insulting you or insult you more? I will insult you more. People are feeding off. Every bad behavior, they are feeding off what you are giving them. If you can show that it's not affecting you, they will quit. They will quit. That's how it works. Those of you that, when we're young in primary school, if they insult you and it pains you, mistake, everybody will know that less insulting. But if they insult you and you laugh more than them or you bone, after a while they will see that it's not working. So people feed off, what they're doing because they see it's working. So you need to understand, like I said, there's a why. Why is he doing this? Is he insecure? Did he see a good marriage when he was growing up? What is his personality type? What phase of life is he in? There's a why. Something is going on, is why he's doing that. Now you can win this battle, but you can't show reaction. It's you and God that will deal with your emotions. It's not him. You can't build all your life on him. I shared the story with someone how my wife was taking me under my feet. Sometimes we play like that in our house. So it's part of how you evaluate. You guys play, you laugh together. So we're playing in the bed one day, and she was tickling under my feet. I don't know why she was doing what we were doing, but she was tickling under my feet. And I'm usually ticklish under my feet, very ticklish under my feet. But that day I just boned. I didn't even look. I just continued what I was doing. And after she did it for a while, I saw that I wasn't reacting. She stopped. Later, I told her that, that day you were tickling me under my feet? I said it was tickling me badly. She said, hey. I said, yes. But but I knew that if I had reacted, if I had laughed, you would continue doing it and continue throughout all your life doing it. So I had to show you that day that nothing is happening there. And she left it, it worked. That's how life is. If you show reaction, like you don't talk to me, if you don't talk to me, I'll die. Yeah, some of you need to be a master at acting the movie your husband or wife is acting. Act with them. Act with them. Join them in the cast. See, today we're acting, do not talk to your spouse and be happy. That's the movie. So continue your life. Continue your life happily. And the day they resume talking, don't do like it pains you. Don't like, hey, so you're talking to me now. So try to listen to me. You're making him feel it works. Let him know that, hey, how are you? Just continue normally. He will know that this thing don't make sense at all. I won't do it again. If he's watching, you can't use this line now. This is the system. If he's with you, you can't use it. I've already shared the secret. So there's a lady that shared that with me. Her husband didn't talk to her, hasn't spoken to her for like a month. And I told her, whenever I start speaking, they are not in the same country. And whenever I start, don't nag about the fact that he didn't speak to you. Just continue talking like nothing happened. Because if you do that, he will use this as another punishment another day. Just talk. Just talk. Say, hey, how are you? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Been a while. Just talk normally. He will desist from. But if you always, people feed off your reaction. So let you and God be the one in love. All right.
How do you handle a partner that says sex is not really my thing?
Okay, how do you answer a partner that says sex is not my thing? He has to make the effort. The effort. All right. The key, like I said, on emotions, I didn't have time to dwell on it. But when I said that it's a battle between emotions, you must master the art of doing something that you don't feel like doing. So, in case there are people here that always say that you don't have sex just because you want to have sex. Sometimes you're doing what you're doing in your mind for your spouse. All right. So now let's talk to you that you're the one being treated that way. say it's not your thing, you need to let him or her know that sex is your own thing and you can't have it without him. All right, so he needs to participate. All right, you need to be able to talk to him and let him know it's your thing. All right, I don't know why he or she is not interested in sex, but it's part of their obligation, and this is where counseling can help. I always advise families to have coaches. It helps. You might not have them personally, maybe in your church or something, or you must be a way that both of you can receive wisdom without necessarily fighting each other. So it's important in everything. All right. Yeah. We live at the time when people hate to invest in counseling, hate to invest in materials. I'm going to tell the single people, so I'm going to tell single people tomorrow, you harvest where you invest, okay? You harvest where you invest. As a people, we've invested more in weddings. We have been invested in marriages. So it's no surprise why we are known for the most glamorous weddings, but we have very weak marriages. Because where you harvest, where you invest is where you will harvest. So we're investing in weddings. So we're having glamorous weddings.
How do you manage a spouse that doesn't like to say sorry when he's wrong?
How do you manage a spouse that like to say sorry when he's wrong? Like I told you, it's about to your emotions. You can't force him to say sorry. You can't. The key is that you can't change your partner by just wanting to change them. You change them by your actions, by how you handle the situation. So you can't be, cannot kids. You can't say, I insist, you know. So you must find patterns and behaviors that will communicate to a person that apology is important. And sometimes, let me tell you guys something, when it comes to marriage, you must be patient sometimes. That's why I said, focus more on what you need to do right. Sometimes you can't take responsibility for your partner's action. And that's what makes a lot of us angry. We're trying to blame ourselves for what the other person is doing. He's an adult, you can't, or she's an adult, you can't always take responsibility for the action. Just make sure you are doing what you should do. That's what I'm saying, focus on you. That's what you have a right to do. You can't take responsibility for another person. You can't. You can't. So in those cases, just be patient sometimes. Pray if you need to pray. Prayer works, guys. Prayer is a major key. It sounds cliche and people don't like to hear those things these days, but prayer works. Okay, I'll take 5 more questions, guys. 5 more questions, then we'll close for today. I hope this has been helpful. I want to get your feedback. I want to know if it was helpful or not, okay?
If a spouse does not touch you or have sex for a year, does it justify going out?
Okay, say if your spouse doesn't touch you or have sex with you for a year, does it justify going out? I'm sure you already know it doesn't justify it. Adultery is dangerous to you and to your whole generation. Listen, that's what marriage is a covenant. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not just about you. You can go out, like that's why I begged you earlier today. Whatever you do in this marriage is going to affect generations after you. It's going to affect your kids. It's going to affect people. All right. So going to commit adultery is never advisable. There's nothing you can do that. It's like asking that's going to steal. They beat me, so I stole them. You will still go to prison. All right. So going to commit adultery will never be right in the eyes of God. All right. If you better that you ever say you want to divorce, it's a bad thing, but it's even more logical. It's more legal than that you want to go and commit adultery because your spouse is not. Sex is not food. Even though it's fun, but it's not. You won't die without it. Okay. Don't. As a man, you test your character. If not, you're a good Christian. You're a patient man. You test. So don't do that. Nothing supports adultery.
My husband loves public show of affection, but when we are at home alone, he keeps mute, stays glued to his phone. I have tried talking, begging, and crying, but yet no changes.
Okay, I don't know if you guys are hearing the questions being asked. My spouse likes public show of affection. When he's outside, he's putting on the show. When he's inside, he doesn't send.
They can hear the question.
Yeah, okay. So what you do in that kind of case is while he's outside doing the public show, you have that discussion with him. That's where to have the discussion, not when you're inside. Have it when he's showing the public. Hold him around his neck, kiss him, and be saying, "Why don't you do this to me at home?" Do it 3 or 4 times, you'll get the message. You'll get the message. But really, like I said, you can't take it from him. Pray, have the conversation with him when he's happy, when he's holding you and all that. He's probably just a sanguine kind of person, I believe. Like I said, there's a why. I said that today. You must always go back to the why. Sometimes I'm not in a position to know the why for you. So you might need to go investigate that why by talking to your spouse or checking their lifestyle. All right. Maybe he's not just used to that. Grew up in a home where there was no show of affection. That's what I'm saying. You need to do your own marriage right for your own kids' sake. So let's find also the why. Why doesn't do that? Is it just his personality type? And can he learn it? Can we teach him? Can we let him know? Can you jump on him jumping on you. Can you let him know you need that attention? He has to pay that attention. Find a way to communicate your needs. Let him watch this video.
God bless you, sir, for what you are doing. My question is, what do you do when your wife has many male friends and you're not comfortable with it?
Have you spoken to her? Your wife has many male friends. Have you spoken to her? Have you let her know that you don't want that kind of closeness? Then are you just being insecure also? Are they legitimate relationships that she needs to have? However, both of you are married, really, both of you ought to respect each other's desires first. Under the evaluation, I didn't have time to read that. But under the evaluation, one of the things that is there is that is your spouse uncomfortable with a certain friend or relationship that you have? It's part of the evaluation. I didn't have time to read all of the questions there. But so the question is, have that talk with your spouse, let them know that it's something you don't want. But you see, if they're not agreeing, like I said earlier, the key is that you can't take responsibility for that person's action. So you need to pray, you need to be in their lives and treat them with kindness, focus on their good. Do the things I said about effort. That's the key. So you can't take responsibility for anybody's action. You can't. Nobody can change another person. You can just do what is right and hope that, by prayer and by your own doing what is right, their hearts will be turned and changed. All right? What happens in marriage is that you come in expecting good, however, you inherit also the bad. So you can't quit just because you have seen the bad. What happens is that God is giving you a chance to love like He loves. He loves the agape kind of love. So give me a chance to love like that. So the truth is that's what marriage is. That's what we try to tell single people. It's not easy. It takes work. But they don't want to hear. They just want to love. So real love is agape love. It will involve sacrifice, it involve pain sometimes. That's what real love is. All right. God so loved the world, He gave His only Son. It wasn't a fun-fair love. It cost Him His only Son. At the time He even loved us, we didn't love Him back. He just loved us, hoping and believing that we will love Him back. And some of us today have loved Him back. Some are yet to come. So do you understand how this works? That's what real love is. It's not fun-fair. It's not I love you, love me. It's not I love you when you are lovable. I respect you when you are respectable. That's not love. That's a romantic movie. That's Cinderella. That's not love. In real love, you might be loving someone that is not responding, but that's why I give you what that effort is. Do the effort. All right, make the effort. It will work. It might take time, but you must do it with the right attitude and support it with prayer. It will work. But you can't be responsible for that person's behavior. It's not really your job. You must be happy with or without the person. Okay. Yeah.
How do I handle a husband who doesn't help in any house chores? Also, we don't have kids yet, and he's not making any efforts to get solutions.
Okay. Men are usually not as worried about kids as women are. So this is what I tell. When I say men and women are different, and some people come and start saying they are all the same issue, they're not the same. They will never be the same. Men just don't see the big issue with kids as much as women do. Women generally feel that pain more because when women come with the womb, that is, by any time you come with an equipment, you are worried when you're not using that equipment. That's how women's nature is. So women come with the womb, so they are bothered that when they don't carry the baby. They are bothered when they come with the breast. They are bothered when they don't have baby to suckle on it. So it's a problem. All right. So there's nothing you can do about getting to know. Just let him know it hurts you. Let him know. Talk to him from time to time without nagging, but just drop the seat. Men sometimes are slower in getting the point. So be consistent in dropping the point, but don't necessarily be a nag. Look for some high points. When it's happy, when it's excited, when you're talking, drop it. That this thing will make you happy. This thing is something you should do for you. Talk to him like that from time to time. He will hear after a while. Or if he has mentors or people that can, talk to both of you, let them know. Like I said, I always encourage all couples to have somebody that can speak over their life. It's really good. It strengthens when you have a mature person or a coach or experienced person that has a good biblical foundation that can speak into your life or motivate both of you. Men actually like that. Men respond to those kind of things better. All right. So talk to him. If he's not doing chores, was he doing chores before you married him, or this is just desire you have now? If he was lazy in doing chores, I'm not sure you can change him so easily now. All right. You can tell him, or tell him come and keep it coming when you're doing it, do it with you. But the truth is that you can't take responsibility for that person's actions. Was he like this before when you married him, or was he doing chores before? Then he stopped. That's the question. Okay, last question.
How can I build trust again in marriage after several cheating?
Okay, the issue is your spouse ready to build trust? It's not really up to you. Like I said, a lot of things in marriage is two ways. That's why I have to address this thing like it's only you I'm talking to. A lot of things two ways. You can't. Is your spouse ready to build the trust? If he or she is not ready to build the trust, there's nothing you can do. You can't trust them to that level. You can only trust them, to a reasonable level, but not to the level you are hoping for. So except they want to build it. If they want to build it, then they have to earn it. All right. If they are ready to build that trust, they have to earn it. How will they earn it? They have to look for ways to create. Let me use it. You talked about cheating. So they have to be able to be accountable where they go, accountable with their phones, and accountable to a mentor, things like that. Just to show that they are ready now to earn your trust back. So they can't tell more lies. They can't be unaccounted for. They must show everywhere they go. They must make sure you have access to their phones. Also have access to a mentor, a male figure. If it's the man we're talking about, that will also be able to speak into their life. So he has to be interested. This is not really up to you. If he's not interested, nothing you can do. You just have to love him with the love of God and keep moving on for now. All right. When it comes to infidelity, in Nigeria we gloss over it, but it's actually a thing of its own. There's infidelity recovery. All right. My wife is currently running a course on that, and we help couples with that too. So it's a thing of its own. For if you are here and you need counseling services, go to LDM with PK also. We help with that. And remember, all these books, I recommended them earlier. Please go get the books. They will help you. They have soft copy, they have copy, and hard copy, and there are messages everywhere. If you're a man, please watch, and I have a special course I want to recommend for all men. It's titled 7 Things Men Should Provide. If you're a man, please go and do that course. It's on our website, or send us an email. 7 Things Men Should Provide. It's a course for men. It's very short. This video is me speaking to a group of men. You will love it. Most men think it's only money they should provide. There are 7 things that all men should provide, and money is just one of them. So there are 6 other things that men should provide in the family. So if you're a man, you need to go get that course. If you're a woman, get it for your husband. Or if he doesn't want to get it, make him get it, nag him to get it for him. 7 things every man should provide. If you're a woman, I have a message on service titled 7 Things I Badly Want to Tell Women. You will like that also. Please go get it if you're not in the manual conference. Then my wife has a book titled Kayil, The Secret of a Virtuous Woman. All right, there are loads of materials, man. So feed yourself. Where you invest is where you harvest. Okay, where you invest is where you harvest. In Africa, we've largely invested in weddings. We hardly invest in counseling or in therapy. So it shows in our marriages. All right. So I hope this was worth it for you. I enjoyed myself. I preached myself happy. I hope it was worth it for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I miss you already. One more question. Okay, somebody's saying there's one more tough question. Let me take one question. Take one question. All right.
So this question is for a spouse to be engaged and preparing for marriage.
This is here, spouse to be.
I may have snapped and spoken rudely and told my fiancé that he has low self-esteem. I am genuinely sorry about it, but he insists he won't proceed with the proper marriage. I have apologized and sent his close friends to. What should I do?
I've told you the secret today. People feed off your reaction all the time. As long as you are sorry, you have truly apologized, and you plan to change. If you have begged him, send people to him, stop. Just stop. He's feeding off your energy. Stop. Continue your life happily. If he sees a future with you, he will come back. If he doesn't, he won't come back. All right. And if it's taking you this long to beg him, that in itself is a red flag, because in marriage you will offend yourselves. If he can't forgive you, have you watched Kung Fu films? The revenge after 30 years. If that's not the kind of man you want to marry, all right. But you need to watch your mouth for future sake. You need to watch your mouth. You need to know how to speak to a man, even if you feel you want to make a point. All right. Men have soft ego. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just a fact. Okay. That's not my game. It's a fact. So if you know you want peace and you want results, you must choose whether you want to just quarrel or you want to get change. So, so stop begging him. Move on with your life for now. Like I told you, it's feeding off your energy. So continue being happy, love your life. Continue. You've begged, you've repented, you've changed. That's all you need to do. You can't force him to come back. And I'm bothered. I hope you are not needy of him, because this is what women do. You are laying a foundation now that you can build on. If you are going to be begging him like this, when you offend in marriage, hope you are ready to beg him when he moves out of the house for 30 days. Hope you are ready. Because what happens to most times, women indulge men in certain behaviors. Then when they get married, they want the man to change. He might not change. You are giving him the impression that he can do this, like this, okay. You should even be worried. You should be asking me, should you still marry him? That's the question. And I'll tell you no, because this one I can't forgive you for this small thing. See, in marriage, contempt grows more. Resentment grows more. So it's worse in marriage. You can keep marriage for 1 year. You know, this small thing. So this is bad. If this guy can't forgive, it's a bad. So I'm worried about you, not him. You should not be thinking about begging him again. I'm worried that you think you are so needy and your life is incomplete without him. So I'm bothered about that. You are the one that actually has self-esteem issues. You are the one that has self-esteem issues. I have a message titled "Improving Your Self-Esteem." You should get it. All right. Thank you. I enjoyed myself. I hope it was worth it for you. Please send us your feedback. We would like to know whether this was worth it. And if we have another one, we plan to have another one before the end of May, if possible. So please let us know if it makes sense, if it was worth it, how was. Please give us all the assessment. This is our first time of doing this. So tell us if the technically was good, the sound was good, the video was good, network was good, whatever. Give us the feedback. Then if you know any single person, let them be here tomorrow, 8 p.m. same time. I'll be talking a lot with them. All right. Thank you, guys. God bless you. Website ldmwithpk.org. All right. Everything you need is there.